Welcome back. This is the Urban Manners Manifesto. I'm having a stroke. Made by Morgen La Civita. I should say that. That's really good. Okay, say something. Say something. You have to say something.
Okay, but you're not.
So, the Urban Manners Manifesto is a book written by Morgen La Civita and Margaret
McClure.
All right.
It is a practical guide for assholes.
So, any assholes listening to this podcast, pay attention.
Yeah.
Assholes don't know that they're assholes.
That's true. That's true. Because we were talking about that, like when me and Margaret wrote the book. Like, do assholes know that they're being assholes? But if you buy this book and you do the things in this book, then you know. Now you're aware that you're an asshole.
It
like,
is
this
an
book
Urban
is going to tell you.
Manners Manifesto.
Well,
you gotta have manners.
Necessarily, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not an asshole. I don't need to read that." But
They might want to read it thinking that, this is for other assholes.
It's like a diagnosis.
Okay.
Yes.
For assholes.
It's
like
like
a book diagnosis.
It's a self-help book, really.
Right. Like you might pick it up and be like, "Oh, this is probably gonna be really funny," and then see yourself in the book and be like, "Oh my god."
It's like waking up in the morning.
I'm an asshole.
You're like, that doesn't look good.
Right.
It's like this. It's like you read this book and you're like, damn, I'm an asshole.
I'm an asshole. Like, yes,
I need to learn some urban manners.
I clipped my toenails on the train, and that means I'm an asshole.
God,
okay, I got it now.
That?
Yes.
Did anybody do that on the train ride?
Not this train ride, but on a bus ride, I saw it. I saw somebody cut their dirty bear claw toenails on the Greyhound bus. And like it doesn't even occur to them. Like they just think that they're at home. They're just gonna cut their toenails. Like that's the place to do it. Like you couldn't do that before you got on the bus.
Or if you're gonna do it on a bus, going like if there's like a bathroom, just go in the bathroom and
I remember the one where clipping your toenails. Sadly, for reasons too traumatic for us to relive, this has to be said. No clipping your toenails. No cutting your fingernails. No
mani-pedis.
Mani-pedis. None. Ever.
How does that mean?
No one wants to be hit in the eye by a flying piece of toenail.
Mani-pedis?
It's like a manicure pedicure. If you're on a bus or a train or something that's moving, that's not a good time for a mani-pedi.
Okay, that makes sense.
And some people don't know that. Like you might think it's like common sense that you're not supposed to eat gross food.
Do they just have no sense of embarrassment or something?
Right.
So another issue city folk seem to deal with is dogs.
Dogs. And I should reiterate that I'm a city folk. So dogs are a problem. I'm not anti-dog. But if you have a dog, like I know that you think that dog is the most important goddamn thing in the world.
Like you're about to say, I'm not anti-dog, but if you have a dog, you deserve to die.
Dog people are under the impression that their dog is the greatest thing in the whole world, the cure for cancer and AIDS and everything else, and then like everybody else should respect the sovereignty of their dog. So people that'll have their dog not on a leash or on a leash that's 400 feet long. Like why have the leash? Why have the leash? If you're here,
you can go like across the entire street.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Like if you're here and your dog is back at home on the leash, that leash is
It's like having a mile-long
enough.
rope tied to your car so it doesn't roll.
It's basically having a wire that goes to your dog that won't keep it from leaving, but it tells you where he is.
Exactly. Like you have to have your dog. Like in the town where I just moved from, we have something called Bacon Fest. Bacon Fest is horrible. So it's like 4 billion people crowded in, and there's bacon everywhere, and people will bring their dogs. Bacon. Roasting pigs. Like they shut down the entire city, and every block you go down there's like live pigs,
Mardi
dead
Gras
pigs.
for pigs.
Yeah, like bacon beer, bacon everywhere, and then they have like fireworks and like they blow off like fucking cannons and shit at the end, and people will bring their dog. And I don't understand why they think dogs would enjoy everything smelling like bacon and they don't get any, and people everywhere, and then cannons going off. Like
that's ridiculous.
Why?
That's the equivalent of bringing somebody who, what is that? I forgot what the phobia is called. It's where like
agoraphobic. Yeah.
Agoraphobic, yeah.
Yeah, it's like bringing agoraphobic to the beach. They don't want to be there.
Why would they want to do that?
And then you're just going to make them afraid of things that smell like bacon because they smelled bacon all day and then there was a cannon. They're not going to enjoy the smell of bacon anymore because they're going to remember that the smell of bacon is associated with
death.
With cannons. Civil War reenactment cannons, which is something that Easton does frequently. You cannot also throw a service dog vest on your dog and bring your dog to like the YMCA or at the post office, because if your dog is barking its face off at people, it's not a service dog.
So why do they make it so like there's a way to get a service dog? It comes with, I don't know, registration for it being a service dog?
You can just buy that. You can just go online and buy that, and people do that so they can bring their annoying Chihuahua out to dinner with them, and the dog is going berserk, which service dogs don't do. And they're like, no, this is my
At this point,
therapy
I'm willing to
dog.
bring a snake, put a service vest on him, and then say it's my service snake, and
Right.
they're discriminating against me.
And the dog is going crazy. And you're like, well, I have anxiety. You have anxiety because there's something wrong with your dog. That's why
Right.
you have anxiety. Get rid of the dog.
Get rid of the dog. That's
Cats
probably
don't do that.
solve
I understand.
at least 60% of your
Okay,
problems.
there's service dogs, and obviously dogs are loud and annoying sometimes. But why do they have service cats? Because cats are calm. It can keep people calm.
Right.
If they're calm, then it makes more sense.
That's because cats don't give a shit. Like,
Well, I was going to say, like, cats are not here to serve us. Like, they will let you walk out into traffic. They don't give a fuck.
yeah, no, they just, as long as they get food and possibly a nice
But they're a
scruff on
very
the
good
head.
role model that people should follow.
Right.
To be calm and not give a fuck.
They're very
Like,
peaceful, yes.
Cats won't warn you that you're having the seizure, but, like, while you're having the seizure, be like,
You're about to have a
you're
seizure.
having a seizure.
You good?
I'm good, like, after you're already, like, on the floor, like, foaming, and be like,
Speaking of things that are not good, have you guys ever had bacon soda?
Yeah.
no.
It's kind of just tastes like a bad beer. Not that I've ever had beer, or I would, I definitely wouldn't admit to it on a live show.
I haven't smoked crack before. I'm not doing it right now.
Right.
Why? You got some?
So, barking dogs, other noises.
Bodily noises.
So,
It's like gargling?
right here, an excerpt from the Urban Manners Manifesto. It should go without saying, but we're gonna say it just in case your mom never told you. Farting, belching, grunting, coughing, scratching, hawking loogies, ear and nose picking, exposing yourself, and licking your fingers are all considered highly rude and annoying in a small, crowded space, so try to control yourself.
Yes.
You should have mentioned biting nails.
Yeah, biting nails too, because they got to go somewhere unless you're swallowing them.
People do that. People swallow their nails. I would
That's
never
on
do
you.
that in a million, even if I was
That's
offered
on
$1
you.
billion.
Anyone would eat their own nails, Steven.
For $1 billion?
That was the biggest lie I've ever heard you tell. Just
That's
to
what you
bite
could do
eat
for
your
$1 billion.
nails.
There's not much I wouldn't eat. Like, I'd eat one of your cats for $1 billion.
Oh, okay, that's too far.
I'd eat a baby for $1 billion.
If there was a cat that I didn't know that already was passed away and was like served by like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, like
Maybe.
fancy, like with like parsley.
Yeah, but I
and
couldn't
shit
just like
on
I
the
couldn't just
side.
like hunt. I
Accoutrements.
couldn't just hunt a cat, pick it up, and then start eating it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not rabid.
I think it doesn't even matter if you're eating, your toenails or your eye. Excerpt from the Urban Manners Manifesto. Yes, a fellow bus passenger had decided that kimchi was a bus snack he needed to enjoy. Right goddamn then.
Isn't that like crunchy like Asian food?
It's fermented cabbage.
Ew.
I've never had that ever in my life, and I wouldn't want to.
It's not a bus food.
We all get hungry. With our busy schedules, sometimes lunch needs to happen on the move. We get it. Mints, granola bars, trail mix. These foods, which cause the least amount of trauma to your fellow riders, eat those. Kimchi is not bus food.
You can't bring a cabbage on the bus either. I'm just gonna, as healthy as it is, do not bring a cabbage on the bus because it's just weird. But yeah, like granola, a bar, protein bar, even like a piece of fruit is probably less offensive than like ribs on the bus. That's not, no.
No, what?
Ribs.
Wait, excuse
Like a full rack
Let's
of-
rewind the clock a little bit. What is this about ribs?
I saw a man once eating like a rack of ribs on the bus and like with the fingers like no, that's so gross because
Aren't ribs like that long?
Like, he just got them from like a restaurant, and then
Yeah.
it was like, can I take that to go? I gotta go to work.
exactly. It's like, listen,
Because you didn't go to
Fred
work.
Flintstone, take it down a notch.
On a bus.
Like that's not the time
Like
for
that was
that.
planned.
Right.
I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of The Flintstones in my entire life.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Flintstones.
Exactly.
It's because that's before your time. There were like two couples that are prehistoric. Yeah, they
Oh,
had
yeah.
this
The little girl
Whatever
pterodactyl.
the kids
head out
say
and
these
gets,
days.
her head gets slammed in by a hammer or something.
Well, all the old cartoons were very violent. So
Yeah, they
probably.
were. If you hit someone that hard with a cast
or a
iron
boulder lands
pan,
on somebody, and for some reason now they have bouncy physics. So
Like Scrooge McDuck diving into the gold. Remember on Family Guy? And he just hits the gold and he's like bleeding. And
yeah, and he's like,
Because
it's a
it's not
solid
solid.
metal.
not.
It is not a liquid.
it is not a
Yeah.
liquid.
was really loud. I'm pretty sure people downstairs could hear that, Steven.
Yeah, I think that was I'm in a good time. So what gave you and Margaret the
Sorry.
Jacob
Are you
just
having a
spat down.
stroke?
Imagining the last time
He just
where
spat down.
Jacob was trying to talk and you kept interrupting.
Oh yeah, I love. Okay, if you guys haven't watched the last episode, please go back and watch that because it was
Hilarious.
Because Jacob Rubber kept interrupting. No. You kept interrupting Jacob Rubber when he was trying to talk. He's like, what? And
So I think that's gonna be.
But it went on for a while because it was me and you talking. So I think that's.
Yeah, we're on for like
I
30.
know, we're on for
Okay,
like-
so but anyway, yeah. What gave you and Margaret the inspiration to write this very well written manifesto that hopefully helps a lot of people in the future?
Thank you, sir.
Speaking of, how many sales?
How many sales?
Mm-hmm.
I think 6.5.
I'm gonna say 60. But that's so. Anyone you don't know? That would be-
Anyone I don't know? Oh, well, I didn't know we had a count.
Buy it, people.
Yeah.
Everyone who's watching this podcast, buy the book.
There's gross pictures in it, like pictures of like dog shit and
You
like,
might be a little
Jesus.
traumatized.
like blood.
A little traumatized, but it's a good book.
Yeah, there's like really disgusting pictures in it. So even if you're not a reader, you can just look at gross, like real life shit that we took pictures of because it was.
Yeah, if you're
There's a photo
disgusted
here of
then go watch it.
a rolled up tissue
Yes.
near some 5-gum. I love 5-gum, but I would not pick up a pack of 5-gum next to something. I don't know what's in there.
Apparently, the person in front of me online for that picture on the supermarket conveyor belt blew their nose and then just left the tissue by the impulse gum. Just buy. I'm just gonna put this here. This goes here. And leave. Just leave and leave your disgusting tissue there. So Margaret and I used to comment terrible stuff we saw people doing in a city environment. It was so outrageous what some people were doing that we just decided, you know what, we should put all of these stories into one book because nobody would believe it. Nobody would believe that people are that terrible that they will blow their nose and just leave the tissue by the gum. So we had to start like documenting the actual evidence.
What happens if you come across a tweet of some stranger and they're talking about you and something you did? What do you think? What do you think would happen? Do you think they would try to meet up and fight? They would start a big argument, or would they just leave it alone? Like if you came across a stranger, let's say Steven was a stranger and he saw you doing something awful in public, and he tweeted about it. Theoretically.
Because I've never done anything awful in
Theoretically.
public. Especially, I wouldn't admit it to it on a live show.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Either try to change it, fight them, or...
Fight them.
This is gonna be a street fight.
Well,
Fight me. Right. How dare you use my tissue? I probably would be embarrassed, and I think that's why, like, on our Instagram page and Facebook page, like, we'll post pictures of stuff we see, because we will call you out. We literally don't give a fuck. Like, we're not gonna use your face. We never make fun of people for, like, stuff they can't control. Like, it's not, the people of Walmart, because that's just, like, mean.
The way you explained that made it sound like there's like a race of people who live in Walmart. Like those are all
Well, Walmart people are very specific people. They're not bad, but they're not good.
When you say
They're
Walmart
kind of
people,
just.
do you mean people who just normally go to Walmart, or like the people that's the only store they ever go to for anything?
No, like you ever see that people will take pictures of people wearing like ridiculous outfits at Walmart? Like sometimes I think the people are fully aware that they're dressed kind of wacky and they're like having fun with it, but then sometimes people take pictures of like people that are like heavy or otherwise like disabled. Like that's mean. Like
there was a
don't do
picture
that.
of somebody who took a picture of a lady who had pantyhose.
Right.
She was wearing pantyhose, but it was the exact match to her skin color.
Yes.
But it was showing because she was like a larger woman.
Right.
And apparently that person like cut off all sort of social media after that. So yes,
Yeah.
it was something disgusting, but it's still mean.
Like it's mean. Like I don't think that you should just take random pictures of people that maybe have an outfit on that you think is like weird or ridiculous, because people can wear whatever the hell they want to wear. Like you do you.
Like what was that thing? Like Jake from Target or Jake from Walmart or something?
What are you talking about?
It's some picture of this like
Oh no,
guy.
that's a different topic. That's
What?
you talking about the dude from Subway?
Mm-mm.
Oh, never mind. Yes, let's
No,
not get
no.
into that.
No, I was talking about... No,
Not sponsored by Walmart, by the way. If you guys want to sponsor us, hit me up.
Yes, they sponsored a YouTube account with 10 subscribers to sponsor a company that's the biggest company almost in the world for some reason, so that makes sense.
You guys ever see that video? It's in a couple of cringe compilations where it's a bunch of Walmart employees standing around and they're doing the "We will rock you." It's so stupid.
They're trying too hard. They're doing too much.
Like just
It's-
like who cares? Who goes to like Chipotle and is like, man, that was a good employee.
Probably makes them feel good though and like validated. Like what?
Because they're like, I work at Walmart. I know who I am.
It was so good. It actually made me like, I would be okay with dying after eating it. I would go up to the person who cooked it and yell at them that it's good, like, and throw it in their face.
Because you might be making, like, maybe, like, their, spouse or partner just left them, the cat, like, they're going to do their shift and then go home and commit suicide.
Maybe they witnessed someone clipping their toenails on the bus.
And then you tell them that chicken was amazing, and then they were like, you know what, I'm not going to kill myself tonight.
That's technically an example of the butterfly effect.
Yes.
The
you
butterfly
do one
effect.
kind thing. Like, it's never a bad idea to tell somebody that did a good job. Like, food service is terrible. To shout out to the food service people who have mad respect.
Also, shout out to the people who are listening to this podcast right now.
Yeah, you're awesome because we're going rogue on like 15 different things. But yeah, so we will take pictures of people doing terrible things in public because you need to be like called out. Like on our Facebook and our Instagram, like I had a picture of... I took Amtrak, which we'll get to. I took Amtrak out here across the country. And, like, somebody just had, like, their bare feet up on the tray where you put your food.
Ew.
Like, just...
That's not... Holy crap.
Like, I know it's a shame, but you're not...
You had to correct yourself to a cuss word. And
because the whole COPPA thing.
Holy crap, like, shit.
Because the whole COPPA FTC thing. You guys know about that? You guys will know what I'm talking about.
Are you forced to cuss?
No, because we had... I'm not going to go into it, but basically the issue is now that if our video gets flagged, made for kids, we may be fined $42,000. So, in order to fix that, we need to cuss because we have the word chicken in our name. So the algorithm might be like, oh my god, it's a chicken, and it's a robot.
And if you have the word chicken in your name, you could do like sonic branding right at the very beginning, like instead of a fuck. Like this way you get it out like right.
Or just have Jacob Ever yelling the F word.
Any kids watching this, fuck off.
Or no, say something like because that could be interpreted as like frick or something that kids say.
The kids nowadays are not saying frick or gosh darn.
There's like 12-year-olds screaming at their parents about how they need Jewel, so...
Yeah, these kids are...
I don't know, 2019's a weird place.
Just kicking their googlies. That's an inside joke between me and you.
Yeah, we want to explain that?
Okay, Steven and I, at the Dowsetter house, were out in the middle of...
it was a house we lived in. We're not going to say where it is, but don't call it Dowsetter house because...
Well, it's not like we live there. It doesn't matter. That's like you coming like...
Okay,
Me and Steven were out in a cul-de-sac, prank calling, just like... we decided to call a random person that like woke up at like 3
and... whatever I said, I was like...
I was acting like I was a kid, like... Or no, I think it was like a... I don't remember if it was a person, because they probably would have hung up right away, but it was like a fast food restaurant, or someplace where they're forced to stay on the line unless somebody gives them a reason not to. And I said something like something that's very obvious that I was trying to prank call, but I sounded like a little kid. So after I did that, Steven grabbed the phone. It's like, I'm sorry, my kids are like prank calling from the Googly. But it sounded like you were saying Google, which is like a search engine. But you can't
It wasn't even my joke. Like, I can't take credit for that joke.
Yeah, anyways, we've gone off track like 20 times.
You were saying.
That's fine. This is anonymous chicken. This isn't. We don't stick to the rules.
Topics. What are topics?
What are topics? Speaking of Jewel, you got a section here talking about smoking and vaping.
Yeah. Just because you vape doesn't mean that you don't have to go to the smoking section. I'm a vapor. You still have to go to the smoking section because not everybody wants to walk through your strawberry cheesecake. Vape smoke, but it always seems to be the people that are always vaping obnoxiously. It's always strawberry cheesecake. It's always cheesecake. Yeah. I don't know why. Like mine is blueberry and mint, and I have to go off with the smokers. That's just the rules of society because other people don't want to breathe all your shit in. They don't want to breathe the blueberry in. There's still like some chemicals in it, like just
especially if it's nicotine, because then technically,
like it's not addiction. You can get nicotine, your lungs can be slightly damaged. It's not a good time.
Yeah, so vapors sometimes think that they are exempt from the smoking rules, but we're not. You just have to go to the smoking section with everybody else and knock it off. You're not special.
Yes. And if you are sick, take fucking cold meds. Bring tissues or stay the fuck home.
Right.
Excerpt from the Urban Manners Manifesto by Morgan La Civita and Margaret McClure, A Practical Guide for Assholes. Bye now.
Unless your mom is named Karen and she forces you out of the house.
Oh, Karen. There's no such thing as a child named Karen. I've never in my life ever seen a child named Karen.
That's like Mackenzie, and then
the names switch up.
Like somebody who's named Jacob goes to Jake when they're older,
right?
And then somebody who's like,
well, it's like Bobby. You're not gonna. That's kind of weird to call like, hey, Bobby boy, like that kind of thing.
If you say it like an Italian guy, then it makes sense. Like, hey, Bobby, like you're saying that to some guy on the street.
No, it's like Vincent.
We'll have to cover some of our East Coast, West Coast differences at some point.
Yeah.
Because I'm East Coast. Here in Nevada.
Yeah, she used to. So here's the thing: we live in Nevada. We're not going to say where. We live in Reno. And I'm not going to say
We're
where.
not going to say where, but it's Reno.
I'm not going to say where or the address, but it's
the address is 1234.
Mind your business.
Totally real street.
What if that wasn't actually named? Wait,
if that actually was a name of a street here?
Yeah. If you live there, we're really sorry.
Look it up now.
You want to look it up?
The actual name, if there's a street called Totally
True. Nah, there isn't.
Yes. How do you know?
Do you want us to look it up?
There's literally streets that are the name of genitalias. That's very high.
Yeah, I know, but there's no way. Okay, guys at home,
That's the whole reason that we were here. The book.
Well, I should mention Margaret is West Coast, so she's in the LA area, and I was in the New York City area, the greater tri-state area.
I was born here
Jersey City.
Yeah. Oh, right. I remember that.
How'd you guys meet?
Me and Margaret?
Mm-hmm.
A website called, you know what? I don't want to give them a plug because they're dicks. So it was a music website.
What?
No, because I don't want to say, because then people would be like, that sounds like it would be awesome. So we all met through this online music website. So that's how we all met each other.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, well, that's... Yeah, see, I grew up in Vegas, so we Nevadans don't really have an accent. I'm gonna get myself. Maybe
you
I
do have an accent. You do.
I don't feel like I have an accent, but I think, well, obviously, if you were like British, you would think we have an accent because we're not British.
Technically, I'm probably British.
See,
genetically, I'm probably British.
See, me and Jake are mostly German and Native American.
Right.
So
don't reveal us.
Reveal
shit.
Us. But you have accents because we talked about this. The insurance.
Like when I say insurance, it's not that I'm like insurance or insurance. Like I'm not like really stupid about it. But if I say insurance, it's the where your syllables are placed and which one is
enjoyance.
It's insurance.
Enjoyance.
Your mom says measure.
Measure.
It's measure.
I say measure. I'm gonna measure it. I'm gonna measure. Wait, no, I don't. Wait.
Measure.
Okay.
What?
Hold on. Okay. I am measuring this mic. Yeah, measure. I say measure.
Measure.
Right.
No, that's not right. Major.
So there are those little differences. They're not right or wrong.
I can't think about it. I can't like think about it and say it because I like to say it weirdly.
It's like when you think of the word exhausted. Say exhausted over and over. I'm so exhausted.
Exhausted.
Shelf.
Yeah.
Say shelf like 20 times.
Shelf. This is great content, by the way.
Also, the reason I was laughing at the whole insurance thing is because I was because I'm imagining somebody who's like from like Iceland to come down to America and go to an insurance company and then be there and like you got insurance, like they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Like it just seemed very funny.
So I just noticed this. I want to ask you more about this.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a sticker. Oh, it's like a business card, and he's explaining why he doesn't tip. Why I don't tip in Seattle. Wait, Economics 101. As the compensation for your services increase, there is a cost for me to be, as the consumer, to pay for that increase. As I have no control over the Seattle City Council's decision to redistribute wealth, I can only exercise the rights left to me. 1, I can choose to not eat out. Then who would pay your wages? Number 2, I can choose to be carry-on for the city's council vultures. I can choose not to tip and explain why and provide a free economics lesson. $15 equals no tip. It is not about your services. Feel free to comment why I don't tip in Seattle minimum wage. Okay,
Fuck
boomer.
Fuck that guy, because you know what? That's like our pet peeve. Now, if you've ever left one of those little bullshit cards for your server, you deserve hell.
What are those cards like? Sorry, can't tip.
Yeah, like I don't
like
believe
this.
in
This
tipping.
is one of them.
Right. So this poor like server who probably has like $40,000 in college debt and maybe like a couple of kids works for $2 an hour and has been on their feet for 10 hours and you leave that little piece of bullshit for them, they should be able to go to your house and punch you in your fucking throat.
It's like Steve,
right.
It's like Steve Buscemi in Reservoir Dogs. Remember, you've never seen Reservoir Dogs.
Don't you know what you're talking about?
Did you see Reservoir Dogs?
I saw it. I saw
at
it
the
a
beginning
long
he's
time
talking about how he doesn't tip.
It's
What
terrible.
the
If you
hell
had
is
bad
he-
service, think about it really carefully. Because if your food wasn't good, not the server's fault. They brought it out to you.
like,
They didn't cook it.
Have you ever seen those people who are like triggered at like they get food, it's terrible. They start yelling at the waiter, like the waiter doesn't bring like the messenger.
Yeah.
It's not there.
But if you're a server, like, my hat's off to you, seriously, because that's terrible.
I was thinking about being a
people are
waitress,
assholes.
but I don't want to deal with Karens and people and.
Well, you can't be a
windows.
waitress.
You can't be a waitress, you're a guy.
You're a guy.
A waiter.
It's server now.
Yes, server.
It's server.
Because of non-binary people.
Or giraffe.
Which makes no sense.
Well, let's not get into
I
that.
tip a giraffe.
Well,
I would tip a
I
giraffe.
would
That's
trip
like
a giraffe, yeah. They got
What?
long necks.
If a
they can really
giraffe
reach
had
your-
like their my plate of food like on their head and like dip their head down, be like,
What are they
you know
gonna do
what?
with the money? They're
You're
a
a-
giraffe. They
you're
go
a
live
good
in
boy.
the safari. Yeah.
What they do is they pay your utility bill. They got shit to do too.
This is very confusing.
Do you think
I
giraffes
think-
don't need lights and shit? How are they supposed to read? Giraffe tipping.
I kind of want to start talking about your train experience.
Yes, I think we have to talk about the
All
train
right.
experience.
Let me get into the mood. To,
I have a-
Hold on. I gotta hold on. Shh.
Oh,
What?
Hold on.
Why?
I'm vibing.
okay.
Well, start from the beginning. So at anonymouschickencorporation.com
We're at a military base.
.net.gov.
We're on a military. How do they
Don't
know we're not on a military
admit on a
base?
live show that we're at Area 51. Are you insane? You had 2 trains. No, actually,
Yes.
in total, you had one here, one back, one here again.
Right, I've had several train experiences,
So-
but the most recent were 2 cross-country train trips in the past month.
Like go from like the train ride that was
Go from the
here
first-
to your place.
Tell us about that
See, the
situation.
first trip out here was not that bad. Like, I thought it was kind of bad, but it was not that bad compared to the second trip out. Like, the first trip, people with no shoes on, putting their feet up on the table, obnoxiousness. But this time, I almost came to blows with like 2 people. I don't know. So this time, because it's close to Thanksgiving
Like
week.
this time meaning.
Yeah, this
like,
time that I just came out. So I
Yeah.
just came out here again like 2 days ago.
It's my birthday, by the way.
Yes,
Side
happy birthday to Steven. So,
By the way,
yeah.
how old do you need to be to put somebody in a like a seniors home? Better watch yourself.
note. Okay, so back to
Okay.
the
I
train.
now have authority. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this trip out is like Thanksgiving week. People are, the train is like packed, so it's annoying. So I'm walking down the platform. It's me and like some old guy, and this little obnoxious jerk of a girl comes tearing through with her bags, knocks into me, almost knocks the man like straight onto the train tracks. So I start yelling at her, and then she ignores me, which I don't really appreciate, because if I'm like harassing you, I feel like you should pay attention. So like, how dare you
If
run
I'm
away from
bullying
me?
you should pay attention.
Right.
Man.
Excuse you, ma'am. I am attacking you. Can you stay still? So she gets on the train. I find a seat, and I apologize to the woman I'm sitting next to that my stuff is everywhere, but this bitch just like banged into me. And then the girl that banged into me is sitting a couple seats up. She turns around. She's got like her hat, and I wish you could see. She turns around like all slow motion. But like she like ducks down like in case I said, yes, you, I see you. You're the bitch I'm talking about. Knocking into old people. So then she turned around, and then she didn't really get up the rest of the trip. So nice. Yeah, nice. And then I made it to Chicago. It's like a 4-hour layover to Chicago. Get on the train. Everybody's had a horrible night's sleep because you can't sleep. The train is packed. You can't sleep sitting up in the coach seat chair. Everybody's cranky. It's like 8 a.m. and now somewhere in like Ohio, this like gaggle of bitches gets on the train. I don't know, they're going somewhere for like a big girls like city like night out on the town.
Right.
And they have to stop because we're all tired, we're all cranky. Everybody's been like coughing on each other all night. Everybody smells bad.
It's hell.
It's hell. And these women are too excited too early in the day. You cannot wait till noon. Noon is when you can start that.
Yeah.
So now it's 8:30. The woman behind me has been on the train for a half hour. It is now 8:30 in the morning, and she has 2 shots of Jack Daniels.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right? And then she's complaining that the train is going too slow. She said, why is it going so slow? I said, because it runs on silence. The train runs on silence, so shut the fuck up. So She's drunk, so she didn't get it. Her mother comes over, and her mother's like, listen, you're getting too jacked up. Leave me alone. It's my birthday, and I'm brokenhearted, and I deserve a drink. I was like, no, ma'am, you do not deserve a drink. It is 8:30, and I'm looking at her mother like, your daughter.
I have like 1,000 questions, right?
I have 2 million
is-
questions.
She's like I said, your daughter is like 2 shots into her day. Like, she's going to be an alcoholic. Like, I'm sorry to break this news to you, but she is going to be under a bridge in like 6 months. Like, I'm not even trying to be mean.
I mean, and I'm an alcoholic, and I wouldn't...
Keep your alcoholism at home in private.
Yes.
Right.
Don't bring it into...
Don't bring it out. Right. We don't all need
your alcoholism
to deal with your alcoholism at 8:30.
Even an alcoholic wouldn't want another alcoholic. You don't fight fire with fire.
So
Right.
for that train ride, the broken-hearted girl, whatever, and then the mother, what happened after you told her off?
She didn't say too much, and then her mother came over and tried to intervene, told her daughter stop getting like jacked up already. And then I went to the conductor because she didn't buy her own drink. Some dude just saw this like pretty girl on the train and bought her like 2 shots of Jack Daniels, which they should have tossed him off the train because you're gross.
Creepy,
yeah, you're gross.
Yeah.
And so the conductor had to come over. Thank God she passes out. So she probably doesn't drink that much
Thank
that early
God.
in the day. Right. So now she is passed out cold for the majority of her train trip. So that worked out. Either that or her mom like slipped or something, because I might have to do that. The rest of the trip, you have like, you know, again, your run-of-the-mill annoyances, you know, kids and whatnot. And I could totally handle the kids. Then we finally get to Reno. We're here. It's great. They tell you 10 minutes before you're going to get to the stop. Like, we got 10 minutes till we get to Reno. This is the time. Get all your shit. Or get yourself together. So everybody is now fiending to smoke. So they all go down the stairs to where you're going to get out and start crowding that area. So now everything is blocked. The stairs are blocked. The door is blocked. The conductor is behind me saying, I can't get down there. And I said, you all have to move. Y'all have to move. There's nowhere to go. It's where you go is back up these fucking stairs. While we're waiting to get out. How are you going to get out? How are you going to get out? The conductor is up here. How are you going to get the door open? Get your life together.
What
Come
happened?
back up.
Did they just keep staying there, or do they realize?
No, I yelled at everybody to come back up. So then the first couple of guys come. So now we're all going in reverse. I'm like, come back up. I'm like, you know, because I'm already cranky. This train ride was worse because I had poison ivy.
Oh,
so I should
yes.
say that like a day before I left, I mysteriously had poison ivy in some uncomfortable places. So that was unpleasant for me this entire trip. So I was already like in a mood.
You know, it could have been the birds. They're not real.
That reminds me of Meth Guy. So
Yes!
Meth Guy,
This is
we should I wrote a poem for Meth Guy. So there was a guy on the train almost the entire trip. He was still on the train when I got off. He and like another passenger started calling me Mystery Girl. And I don't really know why. It was a mystery girl. He's like, you seem like you're mysterious. I'm like, that's just like fatigue. So so he's like, I'm an author. I want to put you in my next book. And I'm like, gross. Because I have a feeling.
You're going to say something so...
He's going to write something gross. I feel it. I feel that he's going to make me some character that's completely disgusting. So I'm looking for the poem I wrote about him now as I scroll down my Ode to Train Guy. All right, so I wrote this for him. Ode to Train Guy. We got to do like the snaps. Okay.
Yeah.
Ode to Train Guy. You, sir, walk fast through the cars, learning all the kids' names and creeping them out. Arrested by Interpol for smuggling hash, you ride instead of fly because you are not allowed. You smell like weed but talk like meth. A great author someday you'll be. No, sir, I do not care to be in your book, nor eat chicken and waffles with you by the sea. Because he invited me to come see him and wherever he was ending up and get chicken and waffles.
Who the fuck would get chicken and waffles?
He's like, if you come out to like Sacramento, wherever he was going, he's like, there is a great chicken and waffle place. And I don't know where this is going. I'm like, okay, that's great for you. And he's like, you should come out and we'll go get chicken and waffles. As like... That's how high he is.
Well, I'm assuming... Okay, I have a very good picture of how he looks. Was he wearing a green jacket?
He was wearing... I would say it was greenish. It was a bluish-greenish jacket.
Every crackhead
Flannel.
wears a green jacket that's the size of their entire body.
Yep.
Why
Right.
can't crackheads keep themselves together?
Take a bath. You know, so like what prevents you from brushing your teeth? He was definitely a weirdo crackhead, and he was learning like all the kids' names on the car, and he was like, he'll walk by them. He's like, he's like, hey, what the hell is this one kid's name? I really should know because his mother said his name 14 billion times
Jonathan.
the entire.
Jonathan, little Billy boy. Just name him Timmy. Just say Timmy.
It was Malachi. See, Malachi.
Right.
So I had to hear the
no.
name Malachi for the entire time. So Malachi. So then the crackhead goes by. Excuse me, meth head.
Oh, this will be good.
I stand. Hey Malachi, how's it going? I'm like, dude, no, don't talk to people's children. Like he's weirded out. This kid is weirded out because you don't see how scary you are. You're scary. Watch, he's going to publish a book, and there's going to be some character like me. And
It's going to include everybody in the bus, including all the kids. It has
The kid-
Watch, it'll be like a
Yes.
best-selling book.
Oh, that's disgusting. Okay,
It's
anyways.
gross. It's gross because he's going to make me like a wayward like stripper or something. Like he's going to do something gross. I just feel it.
Speaking of, how was the train ride here to your house last time you were here?
It was pretty uneventful until I got to New York. Because I got to New York and it was raining and I had like 15 minutes to go 10 blocks with all my luggage to catch the bus to go back to Pennsylvania. So I got to where I had to get to. I was going to make it. I was going to make this bus. And I opened the door to the Port Authority and my foot gets caught under the door. So the door scrapes across my foot and I feel like my sock is wet. So now, clearly my foot is bleeding, but my bus is leaving in like 7 fucking minutes.
I gotta run.
And I did. I ran my ass off to catch my bus, and I made it. I made that bus. That's something else that we put in the book. Don't take pictures or videos of like people's kids. That's obnoxious. So
What the hell would you do that in
Yes.
any scenario unless it's a
Because-
photo for school?
let me tell you, because there's a story in the book of I took my kid to the YMCA to go swimming, right? He's got problems. Got like autism and Tourette syndrome and ADHD and fucking DMDD. He's a mess. Right. It's way too much stuff. Too much. So he's swimming. Now he's having a meltdown. He's having a meltdown about something. And like some bitch has her phone out and it does look like it's aimed right at us. And then he flips out because he thinks she's videotaping him. So I just have to like get him out of the pool. But I'm thinking of like how many times people will videotape something happening to somebody on the street and like put that online. Like somebody having like a meltdown or some kind of crisis or getting hurt.
Yeah.
Like don't do that. That's just like mean. It's mean to take video of somebody else's misery.
It's probably
and
funny
put it online.
for people that are watching, but like imagine your face splattered everywhere.
Right.
Just
So like what if that like one day I come across this video that somebody took of my kid having a meltdown. Like don't do that. Like if you see something that looks nuts and you got to share it, like block people's like faces out. Like be really
Yeah, there's like,
vague.
I mean, there's time for comedy, but like, keep it on Anonymous Chicken or, you know,
Don't be an asshole, be anonymous, chicken.
Yes.
God. Yes.
By the way, we have a merch store now. However,
you have a merch store?
yes. However, it is not set up correctly now because I gotta
We have to
so
fix the financials.
financials up. But we did design. We got phone cases.
Everything's like
We have phone cases. We've got a hat, and we got
got
big
a
ass.
hat.
hat, one hat.
We've got a big ass hoodie, and then we got like a nice. I'm
One
getting the
hat.
hoodie. But yeah, so when that gets all set up, I'll Instagram. I'll put it on everything. I'll make sure that you guys can get to that and
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, do you know what I forgot to mention? So the local supermarket where I go, the self-checkout, I hate the self-checkout. Don't go to self-checkout. I'm going to tell you why. Because they could hire somebody to do that. They're trying to get away with not paying people. So I go to the supermarket at 6 o'clock in the morning because that's the only time I have to go. And I have a bunch of stuff. 0 cashiers. 0 cashiers. Only self-checkout. So I'm forced to do self-checkout. So I start doing self-checkout and like every 3 seconds, put your bag back in the bagging area. And they're like 15 bags. You know, like I'm in an Asian circus or something with like all my fucking bags.
Like, I don't...
So then I have it comes down to the butternut squash. I have these 2 individually wrapped pieces of butternut squash. So I stick the 2 halves together to make one butternut squash. I figure I'll weigh it. I put it on I put it on the scale and I press the butternut squash button. It says choose your item, right? And there's butternut squash. Choose a butternut squash. Fine, put it in the bag. The woman comes over. I think that that didn't ring up correctly, and I don't like her tone because I feel like it's accusatory. I don't like her tone. I feel like it's accusatory. She goes, "You didn't ring up the butternut squash correctly." I said, "Well, ma'am, that might be because I do not fucking work here."
Right.
So She said you were supposed to type in pre-sliced butternut squash. How the fuck do I know? How am I supposed to know that? Ma'am, how am I supposed to know that? So now it takes like 20 minutes. All my like frozen stuff is melting. That is a crisis. I have frozen stuff. Like somebody could be contemplating suicide. Like I'm sorry. I have frozen
are
stuff.
more urgent
Than your
emotionally. If you're driving on a bridge and you have frozen food in the back and there's somebody at the verge of suicide on the bridge.
Yes.
You won't stop simply because hold on, just don't do it.
Let me get this in a freezer. Yes, it's gonna. I have frozen items. So that's like a middle-aged woman. That's like the equivalent of like a medical emergency, like a fire. Like you have priority. You should be able to run red lights, whatever you have to do to get that shit back in the freezer. So it took like 20 minutes for her to straighten everything out. And I said, I don't understand. Why are there no registers open? She goes, well, our cashier doesn't come in till 7. Okay, but you have customers at 6. You're open at 6. Like, I don't understand that. What other business do you go to, right? You go to school, right? And school starts at 9. And they're like, sorry, the teachers don't come in till 10. So
what?
That doesn't make any kind of sense. If your business opens at 6, but you don't have anybody to help anybody until 7, what kind of sense does that make? I said, why can't you get somebody here
People
at 6?
could just go in there, steal stuff, and leave without a problem if they wanted to.
It'd be like going to Mars and sending 2 people and giving them all this stuff, and they're like, wait, we need an engineer. It's like, oh yeah, we're a couple years.
Couple years, we'll get there.
We'll get there sometime.
You can't
might
steal,
die,
though.
But
you can't steal because they make you think there's nobody there, and then here comes like fucking Joan out of the shadow with my butternut squash.
You didn't ring it up right.
We're gonna need backup.
We're gonna need backup for this butternut squash. So, they have people, like, for stuff like that, to, like, reprimand you. Like, they'll hire professionals to reprimand you at 6 a.m., but they won't have anybody to ring you up. So, that's, I don't know if I should say the name of the supermarket. You guys don't have that. You don't have giant supermarkets here.
I think we did in Vegas, but
on
not
the West
here.
Coast. So please don't go to the self-checkout, because then they think that they don't need to hire people, and people need jobs, and just wait online. The line backs up. They'll get more people. They don't have enough people. They'll hire more people.
Moral of the story:
beware the butternut squash.